Good afternoon. Actually, I prepared a rather long PowerPoint, but I tried to shorten my presentation. In view of the discussions we have had since yesterday, we may be making a flying start on this very difficult subject. Nevertheless, I think it's worth thinking ahead. So, as I did yesterday, I tried to provide a kind of a food for thought, because the following two speakers are very well known for their thought-provoking remarks all the time. So I try to provide food for thought before they make more thorough and inspirational remarks. Okay. Let me start with what we mean by regional cooperation. Actually, scope of the region, as regards the scope of the region, some people say, well, we are talking about Northeast Asian sub-region, right? And others are talking about East Asia, where we have several diverse mechanisms in existence. How about the scope of regional cooperation in Northeast Asia? Some people prefer very narrow scope, focused on Korean issues, like we have had on the four-party talks between 1996 and 2005, or KEDO, Korean Peninsula Energy Development Organization, which has existed since 1995, and also six-party talks, which are underway since 2003. Others are thinking about a much broader agenda, regional agenda, but at this moment, we do not have any full-fledged regional mechanism, except some trilateral mechanism among Japan, China, and Korea, or except some working group level mechanism on Northeast Asian peace and security mechanism on the six-party talks. Another important question is how much institutionalization we are talking about. Are we talking about process? Are we talking about organization? Or even about community building? Usually, when we talk about the regional cooperation, it means regional multilateral organization. So that includes at least 3 countries. There must be relationship, the bilateral relationship. So basically, we believe that these two are mutually reinforcing, not necessarily zero-sum. When six-party talks were in full swing, there's been growing consensus for turning this mechanism into a standing Northeast Asian security mechanism. But today, our focus is on 2 key concerns relating to this important topic, that is, denuclearizing Korea and improving South-North relations. Especially the latter one. Latter task is rather rare, very unique, because usually that was at the realm of inter-Korean discussions for the last many decades. Well, before we get into much more specific discussion, what were the real efforts on the part of South Korea on this regional cooperation? We have a long history, right? Since Kim Il-sung government, we had the KEDO, we had the four-party talks. Under President Kim Dae-jung, he created East Asia Vision Group with others, and he preferred the East Asian community as the vision. President Roh Moo-hyun, actually, he was in big support of six-party talks, and his vision was Northeast Asian economic and security community. And President Lee Myung-bak agreed with his counterparts in Japan and Asia, and he adopted together what we call trilateral cooperation vision 2020. So, as you see here, both liberal and conservative governments in South Korea have been supportive of the establishment of a regional security cooperation mechanism in Northeast Asia or East Asia. And also, just for your reference, there were also many efforts on the regional cooperation on the part of several regional actors, starting from ASEAN on ARF, ASEAN plus V or EAS, Australia regarding APEC, and the recent proposal on the Asia-Pacific Community, and Singapore regarding ASEAN, and Japan, from the Prime Minister Obama's proposal on East Asia Community, and CADO, established under the sponsorship of US, South Korea, Japan, EU, and others. Even some kind of a tracked approach, such as Northeast Asian Cooperation Dialogue, consisting of 6 parties, same 6 parties, and 6 CAP. All these are actually the regional efforts we have been making for the last 20 years or 10 years. Basically, what are basic considerations for regional cooperation? First of all, we should have common interest in shared challenges, and we should have vision or common objectives. For example, as regards EAS or EAC, Secretary Clinton once remarked that her vision is the EAS can be developed into a political security institution in the region. And regarding future of 6-party talks, Dr. Kundi Rice once said multilateral security cooperation in Northeast Asia is kind of a desired vision. And President Roh Moo-hyun once said he wants to see 6-party talks developing a multilateral consultative body on peace and security cooperation in this region, in this Northeast Asian region. Even this trilateral summit, which is on the way among the 3 leaders in Korea, Japan, China, the Vision 2020 declaration said envisages some kind of common market. So that's quite interesting vision, right? Then now, the another consideration we should think about is some kind of a roadmap or action plan or concept paper. We have many good precedents. Governor report in the case of EU, envisaging the Economic and Monetary Union, East Asian Regional Group, for EAS, ARF, some kind of big roadmap, right? Now, regarding today's the key issues, actually, we have to make a distinction between non-traditional security issues or traditional security issues. The mandate given to us is related to more traditional security issues. But actually, for the last many years, in the academia or in the government, we were discussing how to create some kind of mechanism on this NTS issue, agenda items. For us, yes, these 2 important issues are very important. The denuclearization of DPRK and improving interpretations are the most urgent tasks. But on the other hand, this NTS concern is also very important, and they are high on the agenda in almost all important fora. Another consideration seems to be whether we should take a functional approach to achieve this kind of a vision, or we should take a parallel approach, simultaneous approach, or we should have some kind of inclusive approach or not. Fortunately, now this problem has been resolved. For example, the United States is now supposed to join the EAS. China is already in the 6-party talks. Vietnam is already in the ASEAN, right? Something like that. But to have more of the progress in this kind of main track, so that we need also some supporting tracks. In the case of the Northeast Asian mechanism, we need the support from Trilateral Summit, we need the support from ARF or EAS, APEC, or even some bilateral mechanism like strategic and economic dialogue between the United States and China. But there are some arguments, both in Korea and in some other circles. In Korea, actually, we have very famous arguments. You cannot pack these two concerns together. That is, denuclearization issue should be distinguished from its intertrade relations or peace region issues. Because for many traditional thinkers, inter-Korean relations are the business of Koreans, and Korean peace region issue is the responsibility of a directly concerned parties, that is the four parties, without Russia and Japan. And also the sequence is also very important consideration in this as well. Some people are arguing for denuclearization first, followed by inter-Korean reconciliation. But others are preferring parallel pursuit of these two concerns because they are mutually reinforcing. In the regional context, the arguments are like this. Well, it's good to talk about the regional concerns, but without progress in the denuclearization efforts, expansion in the new agenda, will simply distract or divert our negotiations. So primary goal should be denuclearization. Others are also arguing that, well, fundamental problem is that if we have a new mechanism that may simply result in just overlapping or redundancy of architecture, mere institutionalization would not necessarily build confidence. So these are the arguments we are having. And also for your reference, I could simply say that, well, on these two important Korean-related issues, there was a long history on who should take the lead. On denuclearization issues, in the early 1990s, it was to Korea's. Then it was moved to US and DPRK. Then now, it is under six-party talks. On the improving intertrade relations, basically it has been two Koreas all the time. Even during the four-party talks period, it was 2+2 format. So you may feel that for many years, South Korea has preferred bilateral deal on inter-Korean relations. But now, because of these new developments on the Korean Peninsula, like disclosure of the UEP in North Korea, or these two important provocations by North Korea, there are now new thinking on these two issues. That is, perhaps this is time for us to think about the parallel efforts on these two issues. Because more than anything else, this nuclear issue is part of North Korean issue. North Korea policy. North Korean and also this issue cannot be separated from Korean peace and security issues in general. So these are the arguments. And now when we move to what kind of status we are having on this regional cooperation efforts on two important issues. As I said at the outset, we do not have much progress on this. Perhaps first thing we could think about is two working groups on the six-party talks. One is denuclearization working group. The other is what we call NIPSM, Nuclear Notification Peace and Security Mechanism. Both working groups are now dormant for the last 3 years, but nevertheless, they say they see some potential for these two working groups. Once we envisaged the foreign ministers meeting on multilateral security, still there's never been any meeting of that kind. And also, as I said at the outset, we have a very important trilateral summit among Korea, China, Japan. Basically, this is not about security discussion, but nevertheless, they discuss some security issues like North Korean nuclear issues. NEACD, this is track 1.5 approach. Even though this is not a government initiative approach, nevertheless, this is they argue that this is kind of shadow six-party talk, so we cannot simply disregard these efforts. So, what is the vision of regional cooperation beyond six-party talks? Many people, especially yesterday, our colleague from Russia asked about the possibility of applying some lessons from Europe. We have a long list of lessons. Some could be applicable to Korea, others may not. So you can take a look at this. This is set clear and it's set evident to everybody, including common values, economic integration, and some political will, step-by-step process, or cooperative significant regime, and some institutions and some principles. So, nevertheless, we have still some problems. Because despite some strengths we have, like a vibrant economy and strong US presence and engagement, but still we have many vulnerabilities because of legacy of history or some geopolitical factor, and also some vestiges of Cold War, and especially and very importantly because of this dominance of North Korean nuclear crisis, and even further, we are witnessing very important development, that is uncertainty in North Korea during this power transition. So how to move from now to the stage, the vision we are all thinking about, even though we are making a flying start. There are many efforts that we made. I leave many of those comments on how to go from here to our desired stage to following two speakers. But in case our efforts bear fruit, and in case everything or things are going rather well, rather smoothly, then perhaps I could show you some fantastic world of regional cooperation. It may take several years or more than 10 years, but this is the list of what we have discussed among the governments or among academic circles or civil experts. Starting from for example, these 5 or 6 lines marked in blue color are actually could be natural growth from six-party talks. They have envisioned something like this vision, right? Nuclear-free Korean Peninsula, normalized relations between North Korea and the US, normalized relations between North Korea and Japan, and Korean Peace Treaty, replacing Korean Armistice Agreement, and probably in the future, we don't know when, but in the future, we may have some kind of this Asian-Pacific dialogue or some mechanism, even Korean meeting, even summit. It may be a myth, but at least there was some hope at the initial stage. Others, which are not marked in blue color, actually were discussed or proposed, or even under discussion right now. For example, Shadow 2 or Trans-North Korea pipeline issues, especially Trans-North Korean pipelines, have been very favorite agenda items in almost every summit meeting. President Kim Dae-jung, President Roh Moo-hyun, President Lee Myung-bak almost already raised this issue. Even 3 months ago, in December last year, President Medvedev raised this issue in his meeting with President Lee Myung-bak on the importance of these Trans-North Korean pipelines. KEDO, we had already that experience. Korea Eurasian Railways, yes. We spent a lot of energy and time on this issue, even though we are very far away from this vision. linking all railways, Trans-Korea Railway, Trans-Siberia Railways, Trans-China Railways, Trans-Mongolian Railways, Trans-Manchurian Railways, all kind of railways, starting from Busan to Paris to UK, London. Okay, that's the vision many people thought about in the past. Catering Industrial Complex. Nobody knows what happened to the complex, but in case everything goes well, maybe some people think about another complex, the South complex. All right, so this seems to be the list. Maybe this seems to be the list of our wishful thinking. But the problem is, the key problem is, as we discussed for the last 3 days, that North Korea makes a strategic decision to denuclearize North Korea and ready to engage in its counterpart in six-party talks and to become a lunar state. So depending on how that progress is made, we could get into much intensive discussions on this kind of vision. So I stop at this. Thank you.